All right, good morning. We're gonna have some breakfast potatoes with scrambled eggs, just a nice hearty breakfast scramble. One thing you don't have to do is watch me peel these potatoes, but as you see, I'm gonna keep the seasoning simple. I personally like my potatoes peeled. Me and my black pepper bacon, that's what I like to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop up my black pepper bacon. I'm gonna also go ahead and chop up my little turkey links and a hot link and a half. But depending on how many people you're making this for, give or take, you might have to use more meat. All right, go ahead and get this bacon simmering. As you see, the potatoes are peeled. They're in clean water. Go ahead. The next step, I'm going to go ahead and start chopping these potatoes up and getting these into some fine cubes. I don't want the cubes too small to where I can't grab them with a fork and enjoy my meal, but I also don't want them too big where they're not cooking all the way through and I'm not enjoying my meal once again. After you rinse your potatoes off, and go ahead and grab your cooking oil. I use this garlic basil oil when I like to do my breakfast. And you're gonna go ahead and place that over your potatoes and rub that in so that all your potatoes are covered with cooking oil prior to them going on the stove. At this stage, the only thing I like to season my potatoes with is black pepper. I don't like to use a lot of seasoning before my potatoes touch that stove, just because if you do that, all that seasoning stuff is gonna cook at the bottom of your pan. It's gonna start to burn, and then your potatoes are gonna start having this burnt, crispy taste from burnt seasoning. But After that's ready, what you're gonna do is grab your bell pepper. For me, what I like to do, I like the color variation and flavor variation. This is why I don't season too heavy, but I got yellow, red, green, and orange bell pepper that I'm gonna chop up to a size that I prefer to eat and cook with. So with that being said, I know you might be seeing me pull these, well, not might be, you're watching me pull these bell pepper out of these napkins. And the reason being, that green bell pepper, I've had it for about a week. The napkin actually helps preserve the bell pepper. If something you wouldn't have ditched school, you would learn these type of things. But go ahead and store your bell pepper back and it'll give you a better life expectancy of some of your vegetables. As you can see now, I'm getting my green onion. My green onion, I'm gonna chop that up, as well as I'm gonna grab some cilantro. I'm gonna chop that up. And all of this is basic prepping. Mind you, while this is going on, I still have the bacon on the back of my stove that's cooking because I'm gonna be using that bacon grease. At this point, I have my pan for my potatoes. As you see, I dropped a spoonful of butter in there, as well as this jar of bacon grease, because I do save my black pepper bacon grease when I cook just bacon. I'm gonna drop some of that in too. After all that's dropped in, go ahead and drop your potatoes over that mixture. And you're gonna mix your potatoes in so that your potatoes are also covered with the bacon grease as well as the butter that you put in the pan. Now that first pan of bacon grease, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of butter. It still has bacon grease from when I did the little chunks of bacon. I'm going to grab some butter, put that in there. And this is the pan I'm going to use to saute my vegetables separately as my potatoes continue to cook on the side. So as my vegetables cook and simmer, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn around and get ready to grab my garlic. Little thing about garlic, I use it a lot, but you're gonna see as I hold the garlic up, the head of the garlic, the tip, you wanna cut that off. After you crush the skin and everything, you wanna chop that off. If you want your food to taste bitter, go ahead and leave that garlic on. Trust me, I'm pretty sure you won't enjoy the meal. So get that off, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna chop the garlic up and you're gonna mince that up to a flavorful size, but you don't want to be biting garlic chunks while you're eating your meal. As you can see, you don't want to forget, you got vegetables sauteing on that stove as well as your potatoes are cooking. So you're gonna have to keep an eye on potatoes, turn around, flip your potatoes over, mix them. You want your potatoes to brown on all sides and cook thoroughly through. You don't want to have half your potatoes cooked and the other half uncooked. Just letting you know, you don't want burnt potatoes and you don't want them hard when you bite into them in the middle. As your bacon grease has absorbed through your vegetables, what you want to do now, drop your hot link and whatever meat you're using in there, minus the bacon. Now, for me, I use hot links. You can use kielbasa sausages, turkey sausage, whatever it is. The little ones you see in there, those are little turkey mini sausages I had. I went ahead and just chopped those up so I can spread those throughout the meal and not let them go to waste in my refrigerator. While your potatoes are browning and you start to see some browning, the edges are going brown, what you're going to do now at this stage, I'll go ahead and season my potatoes. I like my Slap Your Mama seasoning. Today I'm going to go ahead and use the spicy Slap Your Mama with a little pink Himalayan salt, as well as some more black pepper and just a tad bit of regular salt. As your vegetables are brown and your meat looks like it's cooked to your liking, go ahead and grab your garlic. You're going to mix that in with your meat and your vegetables. At this stage, you're going to make sure you mix your garlic thoroughly with the entire pot or the pan. The thing here is you want to make sure your garlic doesn't burn. Don't leave it sitting there. You want to keep mixing it so that you're watching your garlic turn brown, but it's not getting this dark brown black flavor. Garlic will do that, and if garlic burns in your pan, your whole food is going to taste burnt. Everything's going to taste like burnt garlic. So with my vegetables to the side, the only thing left is to make sure that my potatoes are brown, that they're cooked all the way through. As you see right here, they still need some time. In this clip, you can see the potatoes are nice. They have a nice tan coat. They are still gonna cook a little more, but by now my potatoes are cooked through. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that bacon grease and all of that mixture I had with vegetables, all the fresh vegetables. There's no seasoning in that pan. It's just vegetables and meat, bacon grease. I'm gonna throw that in with the potatoes, and I'm gonna make sure I mix that up. At this point, make sure your heat is still on like a medium low. You'll hear it start to simmer now that this bacon grease is in there, and this is where the magic starts to happen. Go ahead and grab your bacon you made and your green onions you had chopped up. As you see, I had just thrown them in one bowl together. And throw that over the entire meal. Once again, you're gonna mix this all in. You don't want those green onions to cook too long. You still want them kind of fresh and crispy when you bite into them. Your other vegetables, they won't be as crispy as like when you cut them. So you're gonna mix all that in. For me personally, since it was breakfast, I went ahead and grabbed my eggs. As you see, I start with 2 eggs. As you keep watching the video, you'll see I ended up adding a third. I personally didn't like the way the egg scramble started in the beginning, so I added more eggs. That was just a personal liking. You don't have to add eggs. Some people don't like for their food to touch. To each their own. After your eggs have scrambled up to your liking, some people like their eggs scrambled hard, some don't. You're gonna go ahead at this stage is where I grab my cheese. I am a cheese person, so I don't go too light on my cheese. But after my cheese, that's the only thing left on your counter should be your cilantro. You're gonna grab your cilantro and you're gonna drop that over the cheese mixture. By this point, once I started putting the cheese, I cut my stove off. The heat from the meal is actually gonna melt your cheese on its own. Only thing I can say with that cheese stretched out like this, when I look at the meal in the process of making it, it smells so damn good. I'm just gonna say, don't bother me, I'm eating now.